Hey everyone, this is Rachel. Thanks for clicking on my video. And I came in today to do what I call my celebrity get down. First ones up are Ray J and Whitney. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen or heard about this story that's circulating on the internet where Ray J says that Whitney's death is all his fault, that he feels guilty. Now, the reason that he gives is that he just wasn't there. He doesn't give any other explanation other than that. And I don't know if this is just Ray J now starting to deal with, the aftermath of Whitney dying. They said that right around that time, he did not want to talk about it, that a lot of people had come to him offering him money for interviews, and he refused it. But here recently, he's going to be on Big Brother or something, and that Stacey Francis is going to be on there with him also. Now, you might remember her as the woman that her and Whitney were supposed to have gotten into a major beef kind of over Ray J. And a lot of people were slamming Stacey because, this occurred right around the time that Whitney died. So she took a lot of backlash, and, we weren't there. We don't know what happened, but Whitney was not feeling her at all. And I think her and Whitney were about to come to blows. Now, I don't know if it was 100% over Ray J, but that's what the rumor was. Now, y'all know that right before she died, Whitney Houston was reportedly dating Ray J on and off. A lot of people felt like, that was not a good relationship for her because Ray J, he's a ladies' man. And, Whitney Houston was a lot older than him. And a lot of people were saying that after Bobby Brown, she was involved with another bad boy. That's what she liked. Whitney seems like the type of girl to me that liked her a bad boy. And, that was her business. If she liked it, I loved it. But this thing that Ray J is feeling, I don't know, y'all. A lot of people back when him and Whitney Houston were dating, were saying that he was running to get drugs for her and all of that. Now, I don't know how true that is, and I don't know if I believe that. Now, the reason why I say that is even though Ray J is not in no means as famous as Whitney, I think if he went somewhere to get drugs, he would be recognized. I also, on the other hand, know that if Whitney went herself, that it would be even worse. So maybe there was a Hollywood connection, a drug dealer that those in Hollywood dealt with, and Ray J did go get her drugs. But you know what, y'all? That was the rumor. I, again, don't know how true that is. But this thing where Ray J is blaming himself, what do y'all think that comes from? Do you think that it's just simply a matter of he felt like if he had been there that she would be alive today, because maybe he could have stopped whatever it was that she was doing that caused her to drown in that bathtub? Or do you think that there's some other demons that he has buried deep inside that are now starting to come out, and maybe they're eating him alive? I don't know. I don't think that, Ray J would do something that he thought or knew in his heart would be harmful or could cause Whitney's death. I really don't think that he would do something like that. And the reason why I say that is because Brandy, his sister, had been friends with Whitney since Brandy was, a teenager. And I truly believe that, Ray J cared about her not only as a quote unquote girlfriend, but because she had been around Brandy for years. I think it went a little deeper than that. I believe that he really cared about Whitney on another level. Now, it might not be the level that we expected someone that she cared about to care about her, but I don't think that he would do something that he knew could cause Whitney, harm in any way. I don't think he would hurt her. So it just boggles my mind why he feels responsible. I never, when Whitney Houston died, thought to blame Ray J or anyone else for that matter. We all know that Whitney had a problem with drugs, specifically cocaine. And I laid the blame squarely at her feet. She had gotten clean for a couple years, but she fell back down that rabbit hole. And that's what caused her death. I think that Whitney had been battling with drug abuse since early in her career, and it was just a monkey that she could not completely get off her back. And for that reason, someone who loved Whitney from the time Whitney put out her first album, and even before that, I loved Whitney when she sang with Teddy Pendergrass. Y'all know that Whitney, when she was a teenager, did backup singing for a lot of the artists that were popular when she was a teenager. So I knew of Whitney Houston even before Whitney Houston put out her first album. But y'all, I never thought to blame Ray J. When I saw this headline, I was thinking, oh Lord, what is Ray J? What's going on with Ray J? And what does he know that we don't know? And I'm pretty sure, because like I said, Whitney was friends with Brandy. Since Brandy was a teenager, Ray J probably knows an awful lot about Whitney. A lot of her secrets, a lot of, struggles that she had. And maybe that's what he's feeling guilty for. That simply, like he said, he wasn't there when all of this happened. So in the comment section, y'all, I'd like to know what y'all think of this. Did you see the story? Do you think Ray J was running to get drugs for her? Do you think that Ray J is just finally now dealing with her death and is hitting him like a ton of bricks? Also, what do you think of that Stacey Francis thing? That whole little get down that her and Whitney had right around the time of Whitney's death. Do you think that Stacey was unfairly, targeted after, all that happened to Whitney? Or do you think she was just a bitch like she was on, I can't remember the show that she was on, but y'all know, was it Hollywood Divas that she was on? And she got on our nerves on there. So leave it down in the comment section, because I would really be curious to know what y'all think of this. Okay, y'all, this next story is about Pastor Shirley Caesar and Kim Burrell. Now, y'all know recently Kim Burrell made those comments about the gay community. She went on her little rant when she was doing her sermon. And since then, she's received a lot of backlash. Y'all, she done been taking off programs that she was supposed to be doing. I think her radio show was canceled and a lot of other stuff. She's received a lot of backlash because people, really aren't feeling her comments. Now, since then, Shirley Caesar has come to her defense, and Shirley Caesar was given a sermon, and she was telling the pastors to check people at the door for their phones, so I guess these sermons wouldn't get leaked out. Y'all, I think Shirley Caesar better leave it alone. I watched James Colwell's video concerning this, and he said it, Shirley, you might not want none of this, because, these people nowadays, they don't have that respect for the elders, and they will come for you. You will get a taste of what Kim Burrell is going through now. Now, like I said in my last video, she had a right to say what she wanted to say. But like I said, Did she think about the consequences, the ramifications of what she said? A lot of people are just so over this bashing of gay people. Now, again, you do have those people that, they are not feeling gay people. I've watched a couple of videos here on YouTube, and the hatred towards the gay community sometimes, y'all, it just, oh my God, it surprises me. Because, like I said, I have this model of live and let live, and let God be the judge. I really don't think that as humans we should be judging someone else, because in the end we're all going to stand in judgment. And I can't get with bashing, killing, attacking. I can't get with that type of behavior. I don't care what you say. I don't think God approves of that. You may have your feelings about gay people, but think about it, y'all. In the end, will you send your soul to hell hating them? Remember, Jesus loved everyone. He brought them into his fold and he tried to give them the word of God, but Jesus did not hate. Everything that we know about Jesus is that he loved us. He came to this earth to give himself for us. So all this, hatred towards the gay community, y'all, I just don't know. I just do not know. But again, Shirley, this ain't what you want, as James Colwell said, because they will come for your old ass just like they came for her. I think Shirley Caesar is of another generation. I have family members of mine who, they do the same thing. They bash and talk about the gay community, and I just, I keep quiet because, again, that is their opinion. But my God, y'all, when are we going to stop all this hatred for different groups of people? When are we going to stop and realize that God put us all here on this earth? And whatever they're doing that you feel that is not godly, he is going to judge them. If that's the way it's going to be, let him be the judge. Save your own soul. Don't go through all this hatred. In other words, don't spew all this hatred. And then with that, y'all, I'm done with this, because after a while, you can't change people's mind. Like, people that hate gays can't change my mind, and I can't change theirs. So I'm going to leave it at that. Hopefully, I do not have to revisit this story about Kim Burrell. She's taking it to the chin, man, because they are fucking with her. Trust me. She is losing all kinds of endorsements, all kinds of businesses. And I don't know if, she regrets what she said. She probably does not. She probably feels like, she was standing in her truth. And I guess I applaud her for that. But I don't know, y'all. I don't know. And with that, everyone, thanks for watching this video, and I will catch you in another one. You guys have a wonderful day. Bye-bye now.